Testing one, two, three, bruh. Um, Couple things, bruh. It has been a minute. Is my lighting that bad? No, there it is. Beautiful, bruh. Listen, um, couple things I want to share with the people. Couple things I want to share with people. Wisdom, bruh. The world is burning down. The world is literally burning down as we speak. Um, I have my finger on the pulse of TikTok as of late, and just seeing the world kind of burning down one level at a time. It's very interesting to observe. And the reason why I've kind of been gone from, well, to be honest, I've been way more active on TikTok than I have anywhere else. Just posting, snippets, what have you. Uh, but I was like, bro, I want to spread the word, bro. And I realized my energy has been dwindling when it comes to being able to output information and energy and things of that nature. I realized I need to refill, bro. And when I first started doing YouTube back in 2017 or so, um, I would go to the gym in the morning and all I would listen to was wisdom. Dr. Miles Monroe, Dr. Mike Murdoch, Dr. Ravi Zacharias, John Lennox. Just the list is endless in terms of the amount of wisdom available in today's world. The issue is we forget about it because it's boring and it's not trending and it's like it doesn't get clicks at all. It does not get clicks. But it's highly beneficial. And I'm living currently the results of wisdom. When you see everyone else when you see your environment crumbling and you're like, why am I still afloat? You realize wisdom preserves you. Excuse me. Wisdom preserves you. And so I really wanted to um that's really what I've been doing as of late as far as diving deep and pouring into myself as far as wisdom is concerned, because at some point you're gonna run out of stuff to give out. And at some point you got to fill yourself up. Pause. Like at some point you got to give back to yourself. And so that's really what I've been into as of late, and I'm grateful because it feels amazing to feel vitality, to feel alive, to feel passionate about things. One side note: vitamin D, people. Vitamin D. A lot of you guys know my backstory. I discovered anxiety and depression in Alaska back in 2020, July 2020 through April of 2021, 2021. And realizing that there are hella benefits to having melanin, beautiful benefits. I don't wear any sun. Like I go out into the sun. I live in Florida. I love the sun's rays. And immediately you will realize that, especially once you start taking vitamin D, because melanin is protective against the sun in terms of like you can't absorb as much light when you have melanin because it's protecting you. But also with that, you can't absorb vitamin D at the same rates as people with less melanin. Everyone has melanin, but obviously darker pigment pigmented people have more melanin, and so of course there are downsides to that. Um, and so I've been taking vitamin D for maybe the last 2 or 3 days, and bro, when I tell you my anger has shot through the roof out of nowhere, shot through the roof, and I realized immediately, even though you can live in an environment of abundance of surplus of sunlight and what have you, there's certain things that if you're missing it, it's still going to catch up to you. And especially when I turned 31 a couple of days ago, a couple of weeks ago, and you immediately notice the difference. You immediately notice the differences of how your body feels when it's in right standing, when everything's in order. So I did want to share that with you. If you're black, if you live in the north, you're not getting. Obviously, it's fall and winter everywhere else in the world. It's fortunately still quite pleasing down here in Florida. But still, just be aware of those type of things. You'll be surprised how many things, if one singular thing is off inside your body, how it affects everything else. How it affects everything. So, I did want to share that with you. But today's topic, it's not really a topic, but it's 40 questions that I found intriguing, to say the least. 40 questions. And I found this on TikTok. And it wasn't as dressed up as this will be. And this will not be, hopefully, anything fancy to look at, but I hope we can get some type of value from this in terms of just asking ourselves questions that typically you will never get asked in your life. Unless you're going to therapy and like you're talking to someone consistently, you will almost never have someone ask you questions like these. Never. it's not normal to have conversations this deep and this profound. So I'm going through these mainly because as I still am in a place of self discovery and reinforcing my principles and doubling down on things I truly believe, it doesn't hurt to have someone ask you some quality questions so you can truly identify where you're at. And so we're just gonna go down a list. It's not gonna be anything fancy, but this is really for me to share these questions with other people while I dig deep personally. And I plan on answering these quite intentionally and quite honestly. And so this should be fun. Number one, Brad, what are you most likely very wrong about? What am I very most likely wrong about? What are you most likely very wrong about? It's a very good question, man. Pride is the first thing you have to address when you answer these questions. Because no one wants to admit that I'm very wrong about something, Brad. Like I study wisdom. I study wisdom. Why would there be anything that I'm very wrong about? I'll say this. This came to mind. The need for wisdom. I'm very much wrong about how I consume it. The level of urgency is not where it should be, based on my personal experiences. Realizing how blessed I am and how fortunate I am to be in the place I am right now. So much of my current position is due to wisdom that someone taught me. And honestly, in a lot of cases, wisdom will tell you you're wrong about what you believe already, because a lot of us deal with relief. At, Everyone deals with pain, but most of us just go to how do I get relief from this pain instead of structurally identifying what's wrong. Um, this is a very difficult question, and there's 39 more of these things. What are you most likely very wrong about? What says most likely? Women, women. I'm very most likely wrong about women. No matter how the pendulum swings, when you go to identify how do I engage with modern, traditional, etc. women, and I'm probably most I don't have the answer as far as Brett. What is wrong with it? I'm not dealing with it, Brett. I'm not dealing with foolishness. But at some point, I think we'll all realize that we're just wrong about stuff, and the things that we doubled down on, the things we truly thought we were knowledgeable and clued in on, it's probably those things, Brett. And it seems as if the closer I get to getting my finger down on, all right, this is what's plaguing the other half of the population. And then the goalpost gets moved or something goes viral. Ebony K, she'll come out and say something about, oh, women, you need to start having kids when you're in college. That's your goal, traditional, what have you. You have men, Tyler Perry coming out of nowhere talking about if he could just pay a light bill, then that's all he needed to pay. Like, what was he paying before he met her? Like, was he homeless? Paying somebody's light? Like, a lot of the shit that just goes out. Dr. Umar fighting the snow bunnies. Good Lord. Good Lord, bruh. Mm-mm. At some point, everyone's gonna get tired of just like, all right, I believed them, I was wrong. I believed them, I was wrong. 10 years has passed. I believed them, I was wrong. 10 years has passed. Your life will be a product of who you've chosen to believe. Number two, what chapters would you separate your autobiography into? The first chapter would be. It's sad when the honest answers come to mind, and I don't want to say that. I got four people watching, man. I don't want the four people watching to know the true answer to that. The chapters I would separate my autobiography into would be probably as follows: 0 through 10 years old. I don't really remember. Will be the title of that chapter. I don't really remember. I have the scars from that time. I have all the wear and tear of childhood. I don't really remember. 10 years old is I picked 10 years old because that's when I started playing piano, and I think my creativity kind of unlocked when I had a new outlet, to utilize. I need to ground myself. So yeah, 10 years old. I would. When did I go to New York? Sixth grade. I think that's around the same time. Sixth grade in New York. That's when I encountered overt racism. Overt. I was one of seven black kids, and so of course, it becomes part of your origin story, your canon moment, if you will. You know, TikTok lingo is outstanding in nature. So yeah, upstate New York, around sixth grade, I went to seventh grade. I went to all white school, dealt with racism. It is what it is. From there, went back to Watertown High. That was where it was, diverse and what have you. Going over there, not really much changed outside of I encountered my need and desire for the opposite sex. And you'll start realizing quickly there's a desired, there's a preferred, there's levels. And so of course we all have our backstories of no, well, when I was growing up, this is how they treated me. When I was growing up, this is how they treated me. And we tend to grow our perceptions of the world and our, prejudice from that pain. Instead of just looking at it, I'm like, bruh, you were in a region where white was normal. So why would you be anything close to desirable in an environment where you're numerically disadvantaged? That's just rational thought. Unfortunately, it comes with pain. It comes with memories. It comes with rejection and all those things. So that's part of that. Um, this is quite deep in nature. A lot of these questions make you like drag up stuff, bro. But it's necessary. It's necessary. And why not monetize it, bro? New York. Went down to Tennessee after high school. Learned some work ethic. Joined the Air Force later that during that time. 2016. Joined the Air Force. I feel like 2023 was where I actually start taking my life seriously. Start actually considering what do I want and what I'm going to pursue and what I want my life to look like. I'm living in part of it currently. I'm living in part of it. I'd never been in Florida before I joined the Air Force. I came down here to vacation, in my first couple years in the Air Force. I kept coming throughout my first entire contract. Well, now I live here. That was part of the plan. When I would drive through Miami and I would be driving to the airport, taking an Uber to the airport, going back home to get a ride to the airport, the emotions of anger, bruh, I promise you, driving from it, and again, it's recorded. It's all in the vlogs. You watch any Miami vlog or any Florida vlog. If I'm leaving Miami, the energy that comes out of my voice, it's anger, bruh. And like, why do they get to live the way they want to live in beautiful weather, and I'm going back to Washington D.C. I'm going back to Alaska for what? For what? And then I realized it doesn't cost that much money to live down here by myself. I don't work hard at all. I do not work hard at all. That's by design. It's by design. It was part of my plan. So I think the Air Force has a lot to do with why I pursued this path and why being able to expose yourself to different ways of life is beneficial because now you can update your goals and update them continuously to make sure they're accurate when you reach them. So my current place in life I call civilian chapter, but it comes with its own problems, its own issues. And the place I'm in currently is direction. And I have somewhat of a this is my direction. This right here, wisdom. Out of all the things I've tried to pinpoint as my direction in life, my assignment on this earth, the only thing that intrigues me, that angers me, that drives me, that turns me on, stimulates a brother, is wisdom. I love having the right answers. And I don't have them all, but I know wisdom does. Wisdom is the principal thing, and somehow everyone's turning towards other stuff. And their life looks like that. Your life is the product of who you have chosen to believe. It's unfortunate. I follow Gary Vee for many years. I've been on YouTube since 2017, bro. At some point, you realize, all right, you're not You're not them, bro. You're you. You are you, bro. Don't try to be like Kai Cenat, Aiden Ross, Prime. Stay in your lane, bro. You're not Phantom. You're not Kevin Samuels. You're not Lead. Stay in your lane. I love wisdom. I love wisdom. And so that's why I'm prioritizing. So that's my current place is all the answers I'm searching for. I'm going to start searching for them through the lens of wisdom. A lot of parents gave their children advice on this is what you need to do to be successful, and it backfired. It backfired. If you're raised in the 80s and you're raising somebody in the 90s, the advice you give them, if it's practical, if it's hands-on, if it's pragmatic, it's probably not going to work. The world is different for them. When they become 18, the world is different. What parents should have passed on, and I'm grateful my parents did, is wisdom. Wisdom preserves you in any period of time. The right answer usually doesn't change that often. And so, yeah, my current place in life, civilianhood, I'm prioritizing wisdom. And it's quite boring. But boredom has the same symptoms as peace. As peace. Moving on. A lot of these questions are just heavily activating my my sympathetic nervous system? I don't know. What are some things you've had to unlearn? My spending habits. Good Lord. Good Lord. Took me years to realize you don't need to buy everything. Most of the things you're buying has no benefit to you long term. Buying food every day and then just to never see it again. Most of the things I've been buying, I'm like, bruh, I made one rule for myself, and it's the primary rule. Buy things you can keep. Simple as that. If you can't keep it for more than 24 hours, don't buy it. So instead of going to Wendy's, I go to Dollar General because I know the burritos in there, they last me it easy 2 days. Easy. 8 burritos, 2 days. Wendy's lasts me 10 minutes. Buy things you can keep. Poverty mindset has to be unlearned. I live around white people, Mexicans, Cubans, some not, a lot of Africans, but there's hardly any African Americans down here, at least in areas that I frequent. And I'm starting to realize it's just the mindset. The mindset is what separates everyone. Our bodies are similar, if not the same. I have more melanin than you, but everything else under the hood is pretty much the same. I was about to start traveling, and I still am, but I put the brakes on because I realized, first of all, why are you going overseas, bro? What is there to do over there? Because I look at my habits currently, I'm like, bro, I live in Southern Florida. I have my entire day at my disposal, all of it. What do you want to do? I posted this on TikTok. Ask yourself this question: if no one knew, and no one could know, what would you do? What would you buy? What would you stop buying? Where would you stop going? If no one knew and no one could know, what would you decide to do with your free time? One of the best pleasures I've come across is TikTok. I cannot find an experience on planet Earth that succeeds the value that TikTok can bring to your brain, your hormones. It's the perfect product to keep you consumed for hours long. And I ask myself, Brett, if I go overseas, what would I be doing? It's less developed than where I'm at, most likely in terms of probability. If I go to a third world country, what am I going to be doing over there? Mini golf? I'd probably be on TikTok in my little Airbnb eating food. Why would I go way over there to do that? I can do that here. I can do all of those things right here. Kind of like marriage. I can do everything while dating I can do during marriage. I'm not gaining anything by going overseas. So before I go overseas, I just need to have something established in place of what am I going to do over there? What is my purpose? When I follow my purpose, there's always provision. There's always favor. There's always an open door. When I follow my lust, when I follow my flesh, when I follow my pleasures, when I follow my impatience, I pay the price every single time. Every time, bro. It's crazy how that works. This is a long list, so let's keep going. What could you give a 40-minute presentation on with absolutely no preparation? Wisdom. I can do a Q&A on most things. I love live Q&As, just answering questions. But wisdom is the number one thing that, like, if you, and obviously wisdom is a huge umbrella. But when it comes to deception, strategy, you versus me, leverage, who's gonna, overtake the other person. I love that shit. Mental gymnastics. I, I love thinking. I love that shit, man. It's part of your giftings. You'll notice whatever you do effortlessly, there's probably a job somewhere in that field. You just gotta find it. Take some wisdom. Take some digging. Do I need to smoke some reefer? Anxiety is on 10, man. What question would you most likely or most like to know the answer to? This is the easy one. This is a very easy one. I want to know with 100% certainty and assurance whether or not the Christian God exists. And obviously, with all the ramifications supporting that, my life would look very differently right now if I had any absolution about God's existence. If there was a way to know for sure, 1000%, he does not exist, Christianity's a lie, Islam's a lie, pick one, Judaism, all of them, it's wrong, you can do what you want, you're just going to die one day. If that were the case, my life would be, I would be in prison tomorrow, most likely. Most likely, because I just don't care about stuff. I don't care, bro. I would see what I want. I'm like, bro, I'm going to need the keys to that, bro. My life would look like Grand Theft Auto, most likely. Because why else would you be disciplined? Why else would you try? Why would you work? Why would you pursue something if there's no meaning behind it? Why would I wake up in the morning and do anything if nothing has meaning? Why are we here? What am I doing on here talking about wisdom? For what? It doesn't make sense, bro. I gotta get my alignment right. I can't focus. What question would you most like to know the answer to? I want to know if there's a God. And again, knowledge versus evidence. Knowing, I want causal, the closest thing above causal inference. Like, I want proof, like mathematical proof. 2 times 2 is 4. I want proof, not evidence. He has his alibi is circumstantial. I want proof. Alicia says nothing has meaning unless the Christian God exists. That's a good Socratic question. I would argue that yes, nothing has meaning without the Christian God existing. And I'll digress a bit and say a God existing. Somebody gotta be in charge, bro. Somebody has to be in charge of this foolishness. Somebody has to be in charge. Without a God, the chicken egg issue doesn't have an answer. It's just ongoing. It's just a cold case for millions of years of no one being able to answer it. Where did the chicken come from? Reptile or egg? Which one came first? Sperm or the egg? Which one came first? Cosmology is the study of the beginning. At what point do we get to a clear answer on what the beginning is? Because we know there's an incoming, we know people are dying, but who started these dominoes? So until we can answer the beginning, I'm okay with studying science, what's happening now, what's happening in the present. But at some point, I want to know if I'm studying this in vain. Am I on here talking for no reason, bro? Am I wasting my time? Women always want the answer to this. Where's this going, bro? They want closure. And personally, I need closure. Does he exist or doesn't he? And I have plenty of evidence, but I want to know. I would love to know. If you didn't have to sleep, what would you do with extra time? I will use it for one or two things: traveling overnight, just to save time. I just sleep, but obviously you wouldn't be sleeping, so I will use that time to travel to close distances. The other thing I will use it for is straightforward working. When other people are asleep, I'm up working. The distance just grows on people. My mother asked the following, and on a question, you have such a great command of the English language. Why have you occasionally used cuss words, profanity as you communicate? It's almost, my honest answer would be, it emphasizes. It emphasizes what I'm trying to get across. There's certain things that if you say it softly, no one will care. There's certain things, no matter how you say it, the delivery will always be wrong. And sometimes, as a man, I if I know I'm understood, if I know what I'm saying, I'm gonna say it the best way I know how to say it, based on who my audience is. And the majority of the audience is not a Christian. The majority of my audience, or people that might see this, they're not, hindered by one or two words. I just know certain people are, and so of course I could use it more, I could use it less, but it's more of a preference for myself that I so choose to engage in. So, it's a tough line to draw because I will be myself, I will be authentic, while still managing perceptions and what have you. So, there's certain things you can't control, certain things you can't control, and I just tend to live in the gray in this concern. Um, why did you decide to do what you are doing now in your life? Why did you decide to do what you are doing now in your life? I'm gonna answer this question, and I believe the sense it was asked, or the intent with which it was asked. Now, as in my life currently, not currently on the stream. I wanted peace. I wanted peace. My number one fear growing up was child support. I don't think there's any fear I've had growing up that was as concentrated as the fear of child support. I don't know how my algorithm got tuned that way. I don't know which divorce I saw first, but I believe something triggered me. There was some form of stimuli that child support was the number one thing. I'm not I'm not doing that. And so with that, once you start understanding what you don't want, you understand what you do want. And I realized I don't like the cold. So I'm moving to somewhere it's warm. Simple. The ability to go where you want, do what you want, and to form your life the way you want requires levels of discipline that even I have failed at. Thankfully, there's wisdom in place where the answer is right all the time. You can just look at the answer. Even though I might be struggling in my own mess, my own lack of discipline, there's still wisdom. Once you realize that the number one ingredient to beating your enemy, to beating your ops, discipline. Most people will not do what is difficult to do because it's for the very reason that it's just hard. I get up very early, not because my circadian rhythm hasn't reset from the military, but because I know most people are asleep, and it's just easier to get things done. It's just easier to get things done when the roads are empty. Sebastian says, "Have you ever been in a dark place and depressed?" Absolutely, absolutely, Brad. Absolutely. In a lot of ways, I'm still here now, mainly because I just don't have a clear focused direction. But me doing this, if you got, and hear me when I say this, Brad, if y'all could realize how much effort, how much energy mentally it has taken me to be talking to this camera right now. The only reason I'm here is because I know this is tied to my future. I know it's tied to the direction I want to go in and the direction that I am going in. But I planned on doing this 2 or 3 days ago. It took me 72 hours of bruh, you need to go get this out of your system. Go, bruh. Go. That dark place, it catches up to you eventually. A lot of us are good runners. A lot of us are easily distracted, and it's a benefit to us. When I have the ability to overthink something for hours, well, there's a luxury in that, that I'm not overthinking that over there. But with that, it's still gonna catch you, bruh. And if you don't have a firm foundation in terms of what is ailing you and how to properly and fundamentally correct it, it will keep catching up to you. The lack of discipline will continuously keep catching up to you. The inability to get along with other people will continually keep catching up to you. If you can't get along with someone and y'all can't, my biggest issue in relationship has been communication, not articulation. Communication. I'm good with words, as my mom pointed out. Words are easy. Numbers, not so much. But words just, it's easy. My mind moves quicker than my mouth, so I stutter. I try to get the words are easy. The issue is, how do you communicate them through empathy, realizing how they're going to interpret them, how they're going to hear them, and how can I be most effective at allowing them to understand my message. That's what communication is. Articulation is, did you say the word correctly? Did you enunciate? And so yeah, you'll realize that depression is just the opposite of expression. This is me expressing. It feels like a water hose. It literally feels like a fire hydrant talking when I haven't talked 35 minutes straight. I haven't talked this long. It feels like my head is releasing air. Just pressure. There's only so much you can put into the weights. I go to the ocean every day. I go sit at the ocean every day. And at some point, the strip club, it's not quality conversation. Trust me. Trust me. You go in there trying, oh, they have free time. Let's test some of these philosophical questions on them. I don't know. What do you think? Mercy of God, bruh. Mercy of God. No, no. So yeah, you'll realize that the ups and downs, there are plenty of benefits of being strong, independent, and living your life in a certain way. And I'm gonna go this path, and I want my life to look this way. But depression is often a sign that what you have is not currently what you need. What you want is not currently what you need. And so it catches everyone, including myself, including those who follow and study wisdom and think who seemingly make all the right decisions in life. It catches you. It catches you. Great question. Oh, allow me to add some closure to that question. Allow me to add some closure to that question. The solution to being in a dark place, depression, anxiety, any type of mental defect, the answer is simple: humans. The answer to all your mental health problems: humans, people, love, listening, empathy. There are no exceptions. There are only delays. There are only delays. No way around it. Preach to the choir. You can try to figure life with so much stuff to where you just have a whole schedule. It's organized. It's well funded. I have all the options in the world, and you'll still realize you need people. You need a community. And again, that will be the cause of most of your issues once you realize you're pursuing the wrong things. What's the best and worst piece of advice you've ever received? The worst advice, what's the best and worst advice you've ever received? I think the best advice my dad ever gave me. I've been told a lot of things, but my dad has said one phrase consistently, and that's the thing that stayed with me. And he said, most people cry after they get caught. Very few cry before. And that whole thought is what keeps me in my room in the dark mind my business. Pick something and go sit down somewhere and relax. Just go sit down somewhere. Because it's those moments of maybe I'll just try this over here. Maybe I'll just engage in this just a little bit. Mm-mm. Most people cry after. After you get pregnant, after you get her pregnant, after you get that text, you know, what should I have done in that moment when I had a choice versus when the harvest is here, the result is here, the effect is here. So yeah, that's probably the best advice my dad ever gave me was just, yeah, most people are gonna cry after they get caught. You have an opportunity to cry first. Cry before. There's no cameras rolling. There's no TikTok, algorithm just pumping your name through the streets. You have an opportunity now. Before the judge is ordering, we gonna need at least half your check, bro. Feed these kids, bro. Oh, we gonna need you on alimony, bro. Yeah, I hear you don't have a prenup, bro. Don't worry about it, bro. We'll take care of you. Mm-mm. Cry first. Get upset with yourself. Hate yourself before you make the mistake. How do you do that? First, establish a goal. Establish a destination. Now you know what's irrelevant. If I'm going to New York City, I'm not taking a canoe. I immediately know what's irrelevant to my destination based on where I'm going, based on why I'm going, who's going with me. I know I now have a clear vision of what I'm supposed to be doing. That's one piece. Worst advice. What's the worst advice I've ever received? Hmm. What is the worst piece of advice? There's one comes to mind, and it wasn't told to me, but I remember it for a reason. So the worst advice I've heard, it was on a podcast clip. They said, "Be yourself. Be yourself." I'm on the fence when it comes to personalities. How much control do we have over personalities? Because when they say "be yourself," I don't think anyone truly knows what that is. Just be yourself. Just be authentic. What does that look like? Me personally, one of the most important things in a man's wardrobe when he leaves, his space and goes out into the real world, one thing he'll be judged on, and apparently it's weighed heavily by women, is his shoes. I live in Florida. I wear these 7 days a week. 7 days a week. And you'll reach a point where, like, all right, be yourself. I'm not sure. Like, when people say that, their intent is don't overthink who and what you are. However, I don't think any of us understand our baseline in terms of what would I do if I didn't have to work. I don't think most of us have answers to that. Where would I go if I didn't have to ask permission or worry about my children or have to go to work? What state would I live in if I had the option? What country would I live in? What would I stop buying? What would I start buying? All these questions are based on your authenticity. They're based on your personal pleasures, your personal desires. I don't think many people are in a place to even engage in that conversation. It's unfortunate. Be yourself. I don't know. What's the most impactful no you've said recently? The number one plague of a nice guy is his inability to say no. Good lord. Nice guys struggle to say no. It's unfortunate. So the result of that issue is that they don't say it often. When's the last time I said no? Oh, last night. So I always go for walks. This benefit of living in Florida is the weather all day long is beautiful, just beautiful. But I was walking down the path, and this guy was walking. He was walking four dogs, all bigger than him. So I'm like, all right, he has no control of the situation whatsoever. Four dogs, fully grown dogs. He's walking down the street, but they're really walking him. And I kind of like moved to the side, and I let him have the sidewalk. And he said, "Oh no, they're friendly." And I kind of just mentioned, I always give too much information. I was like, "Nah, bro, I have to wash my hands, and I love fuzzies, but I ain't trying to deal with it, bro. I gotta wash my hands, can't touch my face. It's too much. It's too much. This long walk I'm on, I don't want to wash my, I can't touch my face anymore because I just touch the old dusty dogs that don't shower every day like I do. No, I'm busy. I'm busy." And he didn't take the answer. He still let his dogs whoop my ass. And I was like, bro, I just told this man straight to his face, nah, I'm good. And his dogs just went to work on my knees and shins and licking at. It's too much, bro. It's too much. I think that there's a huge lesson here in terms of, and I thought about doing a live stream on just nice guys and our firmware. It can be changed, trust me. It can be changed, but it takes almost a level of conscious effort that I don't think a lot of people are capable of. You need time to, first of all, notice your patterns. This place I'm in, it's a place of discovery, not just self discovery, but discovery. Every time I leave my house, I'm discovering stuff. Why? Because I'm not in a rush to go to somebody's job. It's a blessed place to be in, but the levels of accountability and responsibility that come with having this much time in your hands, because I know it's for a purpose. Ain't no way in the world God would bless me in this way, and then He was like, all right, now just go lay in the bed and drink alcohol and get high and watch sports highlights. Close the blinds, order DoorDash, don't tell nobody, and just be at peace. Fortunately, that no, no, no. Everything that's supposed to happen to you is going to happen outside of your house. Everything good, everything bad is most likely going to happen outside your house. And then when you get a family, it'll start happening inside your house too. And you realize you can't really escape it. People are trying to run from it. The only way to get through the lion's den is to go into the lion's den. Daniel was saved while he was in the lion's den. He wasn't saved from it. He was saved while he was in it. Jonah had to go inside the whale to take that L, bro. It's unfortunate. Meshach and a Negro, they got saved while they're in the fire. They had to go in them. How's this correlate to me? As you can see, the world's changing. It's changing very quickly. And by no means am I here to save nobody. Nobody. I will be the first person to go out the street and take me out. No. I have no claws. I'm trying to hang on to dear life to stay in this world. If it's my time, bro, I'm going willingly. I'm going willingly. Willingly, I say. I'll start with. What has been the most stressful experience in your life? I immediately had multiple choice answers come to mind. I'm going to have to go with Alaska. Alaska. Alaska, bro. 10 months of cold, darkness, no black people, geographically ostracized from the rest of the continental US, above Canada, during COVID, on a base that had 36 active duty, and the rest were guard and reserves. On a base that has no surrounding town, the nearest gas station was 45 minutes away. Never again. Never again. I as bad as basic training was, it was in Texas. My flight had niggas in it. My people everywhere, bruh. You know, shutters was everywhere, bruh. It was different. Bro, I be trying to tell people, bro, like, there's black people in Alaska, but when you find them, like, we asking the same questions. What are you doing up here, bro? You walk down the street and you see a negress. I'm like, bro, what is you? You military too? Like, we just assume finding a barber. My barber was Latino. I'm like, bro, I keep it in the family, bro. That's too easy. But my bar, when I'm in areas that I know ain't no black people, I just go right next door to the Mexicans. They take care of brother. Take care of brother. But yeah, Alaska was one of the weirdest, long suffering times of my life where I had to truly understand, bruh, make a choice. It's easy. If life is so bad, leave. If life is so bad, bruh, leave, bruh. If we're honest, how many people would commit suicide if they weren't afraid to do it? Or if, if you knew what happened after, if you could do it painlessly, like just release some odorless gas into the air and receive onto it. Alaska made me undo, do, change, adjust. It really pushed my mind to like the ends of its abilities in terms of can you, and again, it wasn't all me, it was definitely God that kept me, but he gives you tools on earth to utilize. Went to inpatient facility, a couple weeks, came back to work, still had to do the job. Like, no, you can't just leave, bro. Then I go to Cannon Air Force Base. Yeah, my last couple years in the Air Force was almost the inverse of the first couple years. It's tough. But then again, if and there was one question that I saw in here in terms of what was maybe the worst thing that ever happened to you and how did that benefit you? One of the worst experiences of my life was going to the inpatient facility in Alaska, mental health facility. That's what I get paid off now. Like when I wake up on the first of every month, my check is the same whether I went to work that month or I didn't go to work that month. I get paid a pension the rest of my life until I die. I'll take it, man. If the one of the worst things that ever happened to you can be a blessing to you later, I'll take it. How many of you will watch a movie if nothing bad happened to the main character? If he didn't struggle with anything, if he had no issues with girls, if he didn't get bullied at some point, if he didn't get called racial slurs at some point, if he wasn't hungry, if he wasn't thirsty, if he didn't have to work out, if there was no sex scenes, how many people watch that movie? We don't care about the ending, bro. Just keep me engaged to it, bro. The ending could be like Game of Thrones, just no effort, no imagination, just let it happen. No, nah, bro. So unfortunately, you know, we gotta take both. Can't be tall, but then hate buying shoes online. Choose your poison, bruh. Choose your poison. That was a difficult first 10, or first 9, rather. Wait, did I skip something? Yeah, apparently I did. Okay. Let me go ahead and march this for the people. All right. If there was something you've dreamt of doing for a long time, why haven't you done it? It's a very good question. Question of accountability. Low key gaslighting your boy. But it's a very good question. If there was something you've dreamt of doing for so long, have you even tried to do it? Have you priced it? Not to throw my mom under the bus, but a couple months back, her either her washer or dryer went out, and so naturally she reached out to her oldest son. And of course, my question is, all right, how much would a new one cost? How much would a used one cost? How much would it cost to get it fixed? She had no answers for any of the questions. It's not bad that she didn't have the answer. It was bad that she did not have a desire to find out where the solutions were, if they existed, if they were accessible, and what do I need to get from my current position to the nearest or most efficient solution nearby. And again, that's something we all grow into. It's not like we all wake up critically thinking, randomly. But that's the kind of the point of having people to bounce ideas off of. Is that my thought process is, all right, let's just price the solutions. Let's just go look at the solutions and figure out which one I have access to. Her solution was washing the clothes in the sink. And I'm like, I love my mom to death. But that don't even make sense. Now that's her. But of course, myself. I have a passport. I got the extended one. Like, give me the extra pages in there, bro. I have a brand spanking new passport. I'm retired at 31 years old, and I have all of my time. I have no child support, no criminal history. It's beautiful. The question is there something you've been doing or you've been dreaming of doing that you have not done? Why haven't you? The answer for me is simple, and it's probably more, applicable to more people than just myself, but it's fear. The answer is so simple in most of our lives that if we can just get the words out, just say it, then we can address it. Then we can fix it. It's fear. Not fear of failure. It's fear. Why haven't you started trying? Go in pursuit of, chase, get close to, try, fail, attempt. I think I posted this on Twitter a while back, but I see more women trying and failing than I see men trying and failing. It's not about the failure, it's about the trying. I just want the attempt. Give me the reps. I don't care about the last rep that failed. I care about the first 5 or 6 I did. I need the full range of motion on the first 5, 6 I did. The last rep, we'll tackle it again on the next set. If there's something that you've been thinking about doing, and it's rational nature, it's rational nature. Why haven't you tried? Preaching to the choir, man. What would you like to change about your family? My mom attempts to defend herself in public. I was washing the tub actually, but yes, you helped me lead your mom into quick questions that helps bring that to the solution. That's what I'm here for, man. Like, we just try to do our best. We try to maintain and spread the wealth and do what we can for the people. And trust me, I've been in that same place where I'll put band-aids on stuff, and then my buddy, he's been working on my car since high school. Working on my car since high school, and he'll see like, why are you braking with the overdrive button? Why are you shifting gears just to brake? Oh, because my brakes are out. How much cost for brake pads? I don't know. Probably $100. How much this cost? I don't know. You didn't go check the prices of a, and then you wait months, and then it gets worse. Cars are not like humans. They don't heal themselves. If something breaks, it continues to break. Entropy. It just continues in that direction. There's no driving a car harder to make it just kind of fix itself. Humans work that way. Humans work that way, not cars. You will find me constantly attributing, my genetic makeup and my ability to just kind of work through things to actual stuff around me. I'm like, that's not how that works. And again, you can be rational in thought and still make wrong decisions. It's called cognitive dissonance. Cognitive dissonance. You know the right answer, you know the right choice to make. You don't make the choice. Why? Why? What would you like to change about your family? Well, for one, I want to add a wife to it. I would like to add a wife to it. I would like to add a son to it. And because I know I want a son, I'm probably gonna have like 9 daughters. To keep it a buck. So, um, I'm not sure. I was talking to an older guy yesterday, and he said his number one regret was not having a second child. And I was like, that doesn't make sense. Why is a second child the number one regret? Like, because you didn't have that one. You got a first one. I don't know. Sebastian was an interesting question. Would you rather have your pension or your 500K liquid cash immediately as a one-time lump sum? It's like the lottery question. Um, I like it as is. For one, because it teaches you patience. Debt is proof of impatience. Anything you want can be had if you just are willing to wait, or if you're willing to ask, you're willing to pursue it. But a lot of times we use debt to get things yesterday, like now, immediately, good, like quickly, hurry up. and there's a cost to that. There's a cost to that. The number one thing I've learned since being retired from the Air Force is discipline. Like more of it. I was already disciplined in the Air Force. Now I have to be more disciplined out here. More disciplined. Just because I have guaranteed check doesn't mean I can blow it in the first day. That has to last you a month. And then of course I got my side projects and side income. But if this is your main source of income and this is what keeps you housed and what have you, beautiful environments, what have you, you got to manage that junk. You have to plan. You have to say no to some things. I buy my alcohol at home now. I buy weed once a week. Discipline. It gives you more freedoms. So, in regards to, obviously, I would love to have a bag just sit in the bank, but I know my habits. I have a bad history with money. I have a bad history of lack of discipline with money. So, with that, you realize I'm going to keep repeating these patterns. My lifestyle could go downhill very quickly if I don't manage what I have, if I don't maximize what I have. That's why I love minimalism. I love essentialism because it teaches you I don't need a bunch of stuff. I don't need 10 angles. I got one. That's it. I need one camera. I got like 5 cameras in my bag. I don't need 5 cameras. I don't use them. Now, I hate not having something when I need it, but there comes a place where you just realize discipline is how I get more stuff. And it's how I get to enjoy my life is that I don't need more. I don't need excessive. I need to maximize what I have. I don't know how I go. Oh, because I answered your question. But yeah, my lifestyle currently it's at peace. It's not excess. It's not deficit. It's not. I'm not going without anything, and I'm not overly just drowning in wealth and what have you. But it's a place of peace because there's balance. I'm not working 10 hours a day, and I'm not getting paid pennies on a dollar. I don't live in Alaska, so I get cost of living increases. No, I live where I want to live, in a place I want to live, and I do what I want to do day in and day out. The number one factor of that staying on the tracks, that whole lifestyle, there has to be guardrails. There has to be discipline. There has to be, you can't do that every day. You can't, bro. I'm sorry. You can't go do hookah. You can't go strip clubs. You can't be doing all these things. That's not your tax bracket yet. If you want to get to that tax bracket where you can do all those things, let's start here. Start here. So, great question. Great question. But I think I touched on that enough as far as I wouldn't change the people in my family. I would just add to it. I mean, who's subtracting from their family and is in their right mind. So the only change I would be making would be advancements in addition to what I have. What was a place or event that transformed your ideas, thinking, perspective, or made you come alive in a new way? This mouse is not being. What was a place or event that transformed your ideas, thinking, perspective, made you feel alive in a new way? What changed? Hmm. I'll say this: the number one, well, stimulus that kind of drove me to join the Air Force was there was one vacation, and I've told the story before. There was one vacation that my buddy Larry and his wife and his family were about to go on. No, no, was it vacation? No, I think we were on vacation, and he mentioned this one. He was in the Army, 20 years in, married, career, all these things, and he mentioned how once he gets out, he's just gonna go to no, where's that place? Houston, Houston. He moved to Houston, and he lives there now. And it hit me. I'm like, bro, these people don't care about you, bro. They love you. You're Ray, cool. You're a friend. But when they go to make their decisions, they're not thinking about how Ray feels about your decision making. They're not considering your opinion on the matter. They're just gonna go do what they want to do. That sparked me joining the Air Force because I realized I want my own vacations. I don't have to wait for other people to go on vacations and I just tag along. Can I fit in with y'all's goings on? Nah, bro. Take your own. Where do you want to go, bro? Where do you want to go? What do you want to do? With who? For how long? Wearing what? Eating what? What does the environment smell like? What will you be sipping on? There comes a place, especially for men, where once you identify I have complete control until I give it away. My life is a blank canvas, and that I can fill it in with garbage and criminal history violations and baby mamas everywhere. I could rule my life today. It's not difficult. Once you realize that you have complete control and that you might be at disadvantage currently, but you still have control, and that what you do with it, everyone else is being selfish. Everyone else is doing what they want to do to their own detriment or to their own advantage. What are you doing with your own life, your own time? As I age, I'm 31. As I age, I'm not, I'm keeping my muscle mass, man. I'm still going to work out. I'm still going to pursue the things I know to be true. And with that comes a level of responsibility, but also comes with a level of empowerment where you feel as if I'm not just a victim to everything that happens to me in my life. And sometimes it takes hearing someone close to you say, I know you probably wouldn't like this, but this is what I want to do. This is what I'm going to do. It took me 30 years to tell people I'm not going to anyone else's weddings. I hate that was my best friend. I hate that. I hate that. But I don't want to go buy clothes that aren't mine that I have to rent to go sit in someone's processional. I don't want to do it at all. On top of that, I have to drive across country or fly across country. I'm not doing it. It's a scary place where you get to a place where like this is what I want my life to look like. And I know I have control of it because I'm thinking rationally, logically, and I'm using wisdom. I'm using wisdom. And once you realize I have control of my life, I have control of what I do, where I go, who I do it with, I can have control of my feelings. I have control of what I allow to trigger me. You will stop doing a lot of things that you were once doing if you just stop posting those stories. I realized half the shit I was posting, I'm like, bruh, why are you posting stuff just for other people to just glance at it? And you don't even want to do that thing that you're posting. Stop doing it. People will call you boring. Or why do you just, you have the same schedule every day? Wake up early, go to the gym, go get your coffee from Dunkin' Donuts, Black 3 Splenda, go to the beach, walk the beach, sit down at the beach, leave the beach, go home. It brings me peace. And of course, if anyone else was a part of it, they'd be like, bro, why are we doing the same thing every day at the same time, continuously and consistently? I'm like, bro, because I like it. I like it. Now, it doesn't work in relationship in terms of that absolute, like that absolute thought process of I'm only gonna do it my way and my way's the highway. But in a lot of ways, it starts as a man's supposed to have a backbone. A man's supposed to have a backbone, which means what attracted her is usually what keeps her. Don't stop doing what attracted. That's whole tangent. But anyway, there are many moments of catalyst moments where you're pondering your life, you're pondering your direction, and you're like, I want to feel alive. I want to feel fulfillment. Well, for me, it started with I'm gonna stop doing what I hate. I'm gonna stop looking at what I hate. I don't want to see anything in my environment that makes me uncomfortable. Period. This is where I sleep. My environment needs to be at peace. It needs to be at peace. My mind needs to be at peace. So with that, you're saying no to a lot of different things. You're being honest about a lot of things that. All right, I know I love you as a person. I would love to be there for you. I'm not going to do that at all with no negotiations. And because I love you, I might give you an explanation, but I'm busy. I'm not going. I'm not doing it. I'm not doing it. And you realize you will lose some people. Some people will stay because they're the same way and they understand that if they don't want to do something, they're not going to do it. But that's how life works. You have one. Most people don't, and it's so simple to think about. You're going to die. This is everyone's first time here on planet Earth that we know of. This is everyone's first time. It's kind of a cool thought to think about. This is everyone's first time on planet Earth that we know of. And we down here doing stuff we don't like to do. If you're playing a video game, you would not be doing stuff you don't want to do. Life has consequences, but you're literally in control of it. A lot of us just don't want the downsides. I don't want to work this job. Quit. Quit. You're civilian? Quit. You don't want to quit? Then why are you going? All right. Find incentive to be or rationalize what you're doing. But to just stay there in misery, I would have loved to leave the Air Force early. But there was a contract, and I'm like, all right, because I don't want the end result of breaking that contract. I'll stay. I'll stay. But post military, I'll be doggone if I sign another contract of on anything, on anything. Finding a contract on anything. I have no contracts imposed upon me currently. Maybe outside of my car. So there's one. We're gonna pay that off soon. But you'll realize, Brett, the more contracts you have in your life, the more hard your life is because there's just more and more rules overlapping. A Venn diagram of sorts where you can't enjoy your life. Wisdom will allow you to, and with very little, with a very short leash. Wisdom will allow you to pursue what you want to do if you do it in right standing and in an order. In an order. What is one thing you would do if it was impossible to fail? I love this question. I love this question. What is one thing you would do if it were impossible for you to fail? Marriage. As a 31-year-old adult, man. As a 31-year-old adult, my parents' divorce is the number one thing that keeps me from getting married. Not because their divorce was all, fisticuffs and all these things. No, it's because I know my parents as far as I think I do, and I'm like, if they couldn't make it work, if they couldn't figure it out after 17 years, I need to find a woman that's almost equivalent to my mother in 2023. What? And attach my social security number to hers? Mm, it's possible. It's moderately probable. But by definition, marriage is considered a negligent activity. If 50%, 56% of all marriages end in divorce, and you got 10% or so that are staying for the kids that they're not leaving, they're still in the marriage, you're talking about a crazy percentage of marriages that just end. Gone. Vows. I'm like, for what? For what? And again, I'm referencing legal marriage. I would 1,000% get married, through covenant or through a church. I'm like, hey, I do. You do too? All right, bet. But legally, bro, this piece I have right now, as it's not perfect, but as a single grown adult male who lives in his desired environment in every sense, I'm trying. I will go out of my way to try to find like how could I enhance my life without ruining it? How could I enhance my life right now without ruining it? The only answer is marriage, and not really marriage, but just the right woman. The right woman enhances your life. Mm. Marriage is the number one thing I would do if I knew it would be successful. If I knew it wouldn't end in, well, we grew apart. Ray, he's a bit neurotic. He's different. Disappears for hours. He'll be at the beach for hours, and no, I'm not doing it without a prenup, of course. A prenup is like $3,000. How much do you think a divorce costs? How much do you think a divorce costs compared to a $3,000 prenup? She gets a lawyer. I'll pay for it. Cool. Buy her a lawyer. Buy myself a lawyer. 6 months to a year of time to negotiate and go back and forth, so there's no misunderstandings, no duress. All that's possible. But then when I return to the simple question of what do I gain in marriage that I wasn't already getting while dating, and the crowd goes silent. I'm not gaining anything. I'm getting nothing but risk. I can have children without being married. Most other countries doing it. Trust me, as a grown man, bro, in 2023, who's on the dating sites, what have you, I'm probably just as hard to find in terms of I want a tall black man who's the following. My height is just as rare as a one without kids. Good lord. It just cuts the population in shambles, bro. I just want a woman. Just one standard. No children. If I want children, I have my own. More than capable. It's crazy. So yeah, the answer to the most honest answer I have, the one thing I would do if I knew I couldn't fail at it, get married. And a secondary answer would be have children. Because again, I'm 30. I could have did that 10 years ago. I could have been paying child support. I could have been had a divorce under my belt by now. I choose not to engage with what everyone else is doing, bro. Everyone else thinks it's popular. Just hop in, hopping out. Oh, kids, whatever. Making kids by accident, bro. That's crazy. Making kids by accident is outrageous. We can't make iPhones by accident, but we make adult human. What like? How does that make sense? Your wife, the right one for you, is out there. Every marriage won't end in divorce or tragedy. I'm the only one in my family ever divorced. Focus on the good end results. Gotta go. Love you. Love you too. Love you too. Number 5. What is something you love now that you never could have imagined yourself, imagine you would like in the past? That's a good question. I'm gonna take a quick break as I ponder the universe. We'll be right back.
Timpani Beats.
Bless you all for your patience. I had to relieve myself in the laboratory. What were we talking about? What is something you love now that you could never have imagined yourself liking? The simple answers, the easy answers, like the low hanging fruit, naps, steak, weed. My goodness. Marijuana, bruh. Best kept secret of my entire adulthood. 30 years, bruh. I didn't smoke weed a day in my life until I was in my 30s. Post military. Didn't try it in high school. Like my brother was out and about doing his thing, man. Mm-mm. Nicotine has its place. Nicotine is more of a go to sleep type thing. Alcohol's type starting to grow on me. This is a very dangerous place I'm in right now. Trust me, this is a very dangerous place. And so we're trying to manage it with wisdom. But what else do I like now that I didn't imagine myself liking? Horses. Horses are starting to grow on me. Their personalities. Cats. Cats are starting to grow on me. Puppies are starting to lose ground. It's just chaotic. Just chaotic. What do I like now that I never would imagine myself liking? Pedicures. Quality. Quality. I don't know. It's a good question. If you could invite anyone, living or dead, to dinner, who would that be and why? Two people. I feel like the questions are getting easier now. Two people immediately come to mind. Kobe Bryant. Kobe Bryant. My heart breaks every time I see a clip of Kobe highlights, or his daughter, his family, or his shoes I got in my car. I bought my last pair of Kobe's. I bought them when I was deployed in Abu Dhabi. Bought them on Amazon. Had them delivered. It was one of the weirdest experiences. I'm like, how am I deployed ordering Amazon stuff? Yeah, welcome to the 21st century. That pair of Kobe's, I keep them in my car, and I will wear them until the shoe no longer can hold a foot in them. I love that pair of shoes. Love that pair of shoes. And now Kobe's are like crazy, crazy expensive, right? Like you can't get a pair of Kobe's for less than your first child or something. Um, so Kobe would definitely be one. Pick his brain. Like, bro, tell me the stuff. I'll probably add John Jones to the list. Like, I feel like we share a common, a common, neurotic mindset that we might be able to exchange forbidden fruit. Um, Solomon of the Bible is my number one answer relative to all the other ones. Solomon is the number one answer for me. There's no person in the history of mankind, none, with respect to Jesus, that I would want to speak to and like have a long drawn out conversation about stuff. The wisest man to ever live. Imagine the questions I can ask him. Like, bruh, tell me the stuff. Solomon of the Bible is number one. Then we can argue about 2 through 10. Kobe, John Jones. Who else would I throw in there? Tom Brady, Mr. Beast, Marquez Brownlee. Mainly people that have access. Access. Anyone who's worked at Area 51, CIA agents, FBI agents. If you have access to stuff, that's what I want. Those are people I want to talk to. But wisdom and knowledge, and imagine a conversation with Solomon and Rabbi Zacharias and Kobe. Oh my, that's crazy. Solomon in the Bible is my number one answer. That's an easy one. If a crystal ball could tell you the truth about yourself, your life, the future, or anything else, what would you want to know? We're going to rephrase this question for the purpose of not going to hell. If God could tell you the truth about yourself, your life, the future, or anything else, what would you want to know? I would want to know the number one mistake that I should avoid in my life. I would want to know the number one mistake I should avoid making. If I'm driving to Miami and someone tells me, yo, around mile marker 122, there's a pothole. In that pothole, there's a sea monster in there, bruh. Don't drive into it. That's all I need to know. That's I'll take care of the rest. I'll take care of the rest. Just warn me about the small. One thing I'm so grateful for is having a mother and a father growing up, because the balanced mindset I have, due to having both feminine inputs and masculine inputs, traditionally so, is that you get to hear all the warnings from both sides. My mom warns me about stuff that I've been dealing with my entire childhood. My dad warns me about stuff that happens a couple hours later. Both are useful. Both are useful. My mom gets compliments every day. When people say, your mom raised you right, thank you. That's her compliment. I was talking to a man yesterday. He said, I can tell your father was in the home just based on how you look, how you sound, the way you articulate your words. Now, some of that is whatever. But again, it speaks volumes about the people that have, influence on you. The number one thing I would want to know, and the number one thing that my parents have instilled in me, is wisdom. Just understanding their consequences, man. Certain mistakes are immediately fatal. There's no do-over. There's no explanation. There's no saving yourself. There's no mercy. Some mistakes are immediately fatal. You can't recover from them. If I walk into a school holding that thing on me, bruh, and I'm going live, and no, there's no recovery from that. There's no recovery from that. Not in this world. Touching a child, there's no explanation that's going to get you far enough away from that accusation. It's the world we live in. Some mistakes are immediately fatal. Adam and Eve, they got one rule. One. Eat from any tree you want. Save that one. Don't touch it. Now look at us, bruh. Now look at us, bruh. Most of us, if there was anything you could focus on, then like, if I just didn't make that one mistake, bruh. If I made all these other ones, I could have dealt with these ones. But that one, if I would have avoided that one mistake, my life would look so much differently. I'm afraid of that mistake. Whatever that mistake is, I'm afraid of it. Now, of course, I can hear my mom's voice, and who was it, Paul or Peter? That which I feared most has come upon me. Anything not of faith is sin. So we shouldn't fear it, but there's a way that if there's a way that you move through life, there's certain mistakes you just can't make. It's very difficult for me to be accused of saying the wrong thing if I rarely leave my house. For what? Where are you going? Where are you going? In every man's life, there comes a point where he's dealt with boredom, having excess time. The worst thing is to have excess time and money, because now you have opportunity. I'm hyper aware that my current life, my current place in life, is a fragile one. It's a fragile one. The foundation built with wisdom. But it only takes one mistake to bring all of it down. All of it. Especially during the day and age of TikTok, there's stuff that happened years ago that people will drag up and say, oh, let's make this a new topic of discussion on TikTok. Goes viral again. Goes viral again. I'm not saying be afraid of stuff. I'm saying use wisdom. Don't say what you don't want. Say what you do want. Focus on what you do want, not what you don't want. Focus on what you actually want versus what you don't want. Whatever you focus on is going to come to you. I thought about this live stream so long that I'm finally doing it. Thank goodness. That's why I don't mind being on for 3 or 4 hours. I'm here now. The hardest part was getting to the chair. I'm here now, bro. It's easy now. I'll probably be over 3 or 4. I'll be over 3 or 4 hours until I get it all out. Why? Because I know it takes me. It took too much to get here. Now about my actual life, it took me 30 years to get to my goal. I want options. I've said it in countless vlogs, millions of videos, thousands of videos I've made. I constantly talk about how I want options. I want to wake up on a Monday morning and have nowhere to go, nowhere to be, no uniform, no one calling me, no one knocking on my door at 5 a.m., 6 a.m. Hey, wake up, bruh. We got chore. No, no. I wake up to the sound of air conditioning. The sound of air conditioning. The sound of air conditioning, bro. With all of that, with all the blessings and the favor that I've received in my life, all of it can be gone the second you deviate from the path of wisdom. All of it. I was watching TikTok the other day. The guy was like, "Have you ever lost everything?" No, no, no. Have you ever lost all of it, everything? I personally don't know anyone who has. I don't know anyone who's lost everything. I've seen people, their house, go up in a fire, but hopefully they still have their bank accounts. They still had some friends and family, place to stay, place to sleep at night, jobs to go to. But when you talk to someone who has lost everything, everyone, all the stuff, all the things, that's true perspective. And I'm sure a lot of them can trace back their mistakes back to one singular moment when you had a choice and you made the wrong one. So the out of all the things I worry about today, the number one thing I tend to kind of give most of my energy to is which mistakes do I need to be avoiding? Which ones are accessible? Which ones are trending? Which ones are in my regional, what's the word, vicinity? At some point, it's going to find you. It's going to find you, and then you'll be tested. You'll be tested. Hopefully, you're prepared. What else we got? Oh Lord, what are you addicted to? What am I addicted to? Let's be honest. And again, these questions are for you to answer along as we get into the foolishness. Why can I peace peace? I'm addicted to the following: sugar. No, no. Sugar has been tailing off. Sugar's still up there because I still think about sugar even when I'm not ingesting it. I still think about sugar. But sugar's on there as an honorable mention just because we're dealing with it actively, proactively. Caffeine. This is caffeine. I was about to say I haven't had any today, but caffeine. I'm going to be honest and say marijuana because when I look at my actions and my inability to say no to it when I have the option, I'm like, bro, I'm not saying no to it, bro. It's necessary. I need that, bro. Alcohol is a dangerous one that I'm actively tracking because it's a natural sedative. It's a natural sedative. It feels good. It feels good. One thing I've noticed with all my addictions is that they tend to be band-aids of sorts. That they're covering up stuff. They're covering up stuff. My anger tells me when I'm healthy. I noticed this either yesterday or the day before. My anger tells me when I'm healthy. My testosterone, when it's at its proper levels, especially my free testosterone, I can feel it because my anger reacts to it. Things that don't normally trigger me because I'm usually high most of the time and I'm just relaxed and nothing can get under my skin. And then you get those moments where I'm like, why why is this bothering me, man? For me, it's a good thing because vitamin D levels are healthy, and I need that, bro. Vitamin D acts more like a hormone than anything else. It's not just a vitamin. Testosterone requires vitamin D to be present, especially if those with melanin. You're probably vitamin D deficient, and you'd be surprised by taking 10,000 what is the term, bro? IUs. Take 10,000 IUs, bro. You feel it. You feel it. It feels like an engine turned on, like a backup generator, and you're like, oh, that's what it feels like to be angry again. And then you get to be productive and things like this, where I'm actually doing something productive. This is a result of having healthy vitamin D levels. It's necessary, right? What else we got? What's the milestone you're working towards right now in your personal and professional life? I'm a huge advocate of keeping something secret. Like most people don't need to know exactly what you're doing. I will answer it this way: what's the milestone you're working towards? So I talked about discipline earlier in this. Discipline is what I'm trying to harness it. I'm trying to harness it like uranium. I want to be disciplined. Why? Because I know the end result of discipline is that you get what you want later. Every time, with no exceptions. Discipline. That's my goal of most days. Some days I make a mistake early in the day and I will lay in the bed and let the day go. I'm trying to stop doing that. But discipline, it fuels me, especially when I achieve it, when I do it. Yes, finally, man. Get the benefits. My milestones, really, the short term goals, what I'm chasing is just to be disciplined every day. I, I want to be disciplined every day. The things I don't want to do, that I know I need to be doing, I want to be doing those things. As painful as it might be, I don't want the pain of regret. I don't want to have years of, but you had all this time, bro. I fixed my face in a whole live stream, bro. I fixed my whole face in a live stream to tell y'all, yo, I would love to do my podcast full time, full time. If I could just talk to a camera and that's what I could do, and talk about wisdom and current events and things of that nature, philosophical arguments. And now I have the opportunity to do exactly that. There are consequences to success. There are consequences that if you get what you want, something else usually changes. When you upgrade, something is different now. Get a new car, everything works. The first time, I press a button and it works. All the fluids are full. All the bolts are tight and not rusted. Everything is in right standing, homeostasis. This car is going to depreciate in value about 25% when I drive it off, but this car is, by assembly line standards, perfect. And then you get a payment. I'm like, well, my old car didn't have a car payment, but it had all these problems. My new car has no problems, but it has a car payment. Choose your poison. Pick one. Discipline is hard now. What's harder? Trying to make up for not being disciplined. Trying to make a savings account out of thin air. Struggling with every single bill. For what? When I could just do this one thing that I know I don't want to do, but I know it has direct benefits to my life. Just be disciplined. Just do that. If I want to lose weight, bro, what are you about to eat? For the next 10 minutes, you're focused on this. Make this right decision. What are the end results? You see it, man. You start getting results. And you realize, oh, the way to get what I want is to be disciplined and then pursue it. Be disciplined and pursue it. Ask for it. Pursue it. Simple. Simple as that. And so those are my short-term goals, is to be disciplined. Consistently disciplined. Day in and day out. And the benefits are immediate, especially when you're already above, let's call it the top of the water, the surface of the water. You could be drowning or you could be treading water. When you start from a treading water position, you'll realize you get higher and higher in the water. You'll get higher and higher in the water the more disciplined you are. You realize, all right, I'm not drowning. Now I can start planning for the future. I can start making projected decisions because I have a base to work with. Discipline is my obsession. Why? Because it gives me everything that I desire. Why not? What was the most bizarre encounter you've had in your life? That's a good question. What was the most bizarre encounter you've had in your life? What was the most bizarre encounter you've had in your life? That's a very good question. I don't know. I might have to let that one soak overnight, like them dusty dishes. Let's see what we got. Number 11. Is there something that you've dreamt of doing for a long time? Why haven't you done it? All right, well, we already went through all these. So we're through 20 already. That's outstanding. 21. If you were to die this evening with no opportunity to communicate with anyone, what would you regret not having told someone? Why haven't you told them yet? Good lord. I hate questions like this that make you do stuff. Like that they actually invoke a visceral response where I'm like, I probably should do that today. If you were to die this evening with no opportunity to communicate with anyone, what would you most regret not having told someone? And why haven't you told them? I think the difficulty of this question is the amount of people that come to mind. If you were to die this evening with no opportunity to communicate with anyone, what would you most regret not having told someone? I think I'm pretty upfront with a lot of my save till death comments and questions. Me and my dad would talk. I've been talking as of late, just kind of bouncing questions back and forth. I asked him one of these questions. The question was something of the effect of, "When was the last time you were proud of me?" Or like just questions that we tend to ask on our deathbeds. Um, and the answers are always interesting because they're never what you expect. They're never what you expect. I'd say this to my entire family. Everything I've ever done, in the back of my mind while doing so, there sat my family. The version of my family that I'm picturing is this picture that we had took in Clarksville, Tennessee, on the back side of Greater New Birth Jerusalem Church of God in Christ. My entire family, my dad, my mom, my two sisters, my brother, all in this picture. That's my last memory of my family intact. And that ultimately has caused me probably the most pain just thinking about that picture. I'm like, yo, why did I lose that? Who took that away from me? No one to blame. No one to blame. It's part of my story. It has to be. I had no control of it. It was my fault. However, it is my responsibility to overcome and to use that as some type of fuel. And so that's probably the thing I will highlight most is just the love I have for my family. I don't have that for anyone else or anything else. I can't think of anyone I would go to prison over except for my family. And trying to express that in a way of like I would commit murder, cold blooded murder for my family. And I don't think people will take you seriously. Like it will be slow. I would enjoy it. It's a bit dark. But yeah, that's probably the one thing I will communicate to my family is the love I had for them and the impact they had on me, both now and previously. A lot of these questions are like make you, good lord, make you dig all the way deep into your subconscious and what do you spend too much time doing? What don't you spend enough time doing? I spend too much time on TikTok, way too much time on TikTok, and I don't spend enough time studying wisdom comparatively, relatively. I do not spend enough time studying wisdom in comparison to the amount of time I spend on TikTok. And I'm not consuming wisdom on TikTok, even though that is a method and a great tool. But in terms of directly receiving unto myself the wisdom that is required for this life and to make life efficient and comfortable and peaceful, yeah. As much as I value wisdom, I don't study it as much as I study entertainment. That's the honest answer. What don't you spend enough time doing? Studying wisdom. Studying wisdom. I would also add to that spending time with people. I hate the word. I hate the way the world is set up because my life has. I've adapted to my life or to my environment rather to a place where like my life is efficient now, like almost too efficient that there's no room for chaos. I hate the idea of going on dates. I hate that. It's the world we live in, man. The kind of woman I want is not dropping draws on the first date. No, the kind of woman I want to keep, like around me and in public, and got pictures and, mm-mm. Which means my decision making has to be different concerning wives, thoughts. It two different sides. They act differently. They approach you differently. They speak to you differently. And so the issue that I'm running into is that to find a quality person, you have to like go into somebody's bedroom and like find them under the covers. Like all the introverts, all the people that are not out, acting a fool, sexy reds of sorts. They're not out in the street, bro. They're not at the club. They're just not. You're not gonna find them on the pole, bro. Community. Again, the same guy I was talking yesterday. He mentioned, bro, go try out Christ Fellowship, brother. Women in there different, bro. I'm like, bro, who going to church to find old girl? There are more children in church. Good lord, children's ministry blowing up, blowing up. No men. Men's ministry got 2 men in the entire church. One of them the pastor. Children's ministry throwing these mega events and it's crazy. It's crazy. I don't spend enough time studying wisdom. I don't spend enough time studying wisdom, especially having the knowledge of how valuable it is. What else we got? Did I skip something? What makes you feel most alive? Being courageous, feeling the fear, and doing it anyway. That exchange right there, that phrase, that back and forth of I feel fear. It's tangible. I'm going to do it anyway. Not in terms of I'm trying to get myself killed, but I understand the value of being afraid of something and doing it anyway. Everything I want is on the other side of fear. All of it. Everything I desire, I have to go through fear to get it. And so I will do so willingly. Courageousness. I feel like my fight or flight is like, what is he doing? We just sent him some cortisol, bruh, to inform him, bruh, you in danger. I'm like, bruh, that's not danger, bruh, that's fear. I'm gonna go ahead and do this, bruh. Let's go ahead and do this, bruh. Going into the fear makes me feel alive. It'll make you feel alive as well too. But just don't get fear and danger confused. Danger is a measure of how quickly you about to die. Fear is just an opportunity. Just opportunity. What is something you do differently than most people? Think. I will toot my horn here. I know I think differently than people, and with good results to show for it. I thank God every day that He gave me this mind. Good Lord, good Lord. You could spend 10 minutes on TikTok and just hear some of the minds these people have. I'm like, how do you function in this world with that mind? That don't even make sense. How does that make sense to you? I will hear people all day long, logical incoherence. Just well, this equals this. It doesn't though. It doesn't. That doesn't make sense. I'm like, how do people go through life with wrong information, with wrong thought processes? It's unfortunate. I love my mind. I love my mind. I love my mind. Now it comes with some downsides. My mind is finely tuned with the dark triads. I love it. Watching someone manipulate me to my face, there's nothing more that angers me because I just see it. I'm like, I'm watching you manipulate me for the majority of my life. I just let it go, just just ignored it. Like they're literally they're to my face trying to manipulate me, and I love deception. I love strategy. I love seduction. I love the dark triad. Just studying how to get them to say yes when they want to say no. I love that. How do I get them to buy this when they don't want it? How do I get them to buy this when they can't afford it? How do I get them to buy two when they have no money? How do I break up families without them knowing? How do I take the black men out of the homes with no one being the wiser? How do I remove the black men and then have the black women blame the black men welfare? Hmm. You start piecing things together, you realize nothing happens by accident. This world is ran by entropy. Things tend towards disorder. A candle does not burn infinitely. It just can't. The I see the world going, and it's kind of weird to watch. The world is going towards nihilism quicker than we can stop it, especially United States. You see these different trends. One of them, I can't remember the name of it, but it's basically just laying in bed with the blankets over your head and you're just bed rotting, bed rotting. And I'm like, of course, this is my For You page, so of course, no, bed rotting is a thing. But you start realizing, I think more and more people are starting to wake up to the fact that I don't think most of us have been in control of our lives and our decisions directly. Directly, what have we been pursuing that we were supposed to be pursuing based on our desired destinations? I don't know. When you start studying wisdom, you'll realize that it's mostly understanding that this world is trying to deceive you. Yeah. Everyone's trying to sell you something. Everyone wants your attention for whatever reason. The battle for your mind, bro. I'm telling you, the most valuable thing you have is your mind, and you must grow it. It's not in its fullest form, you know, ever. It's a muscle that grows as much as you want it to. As much as you want it to, it grows. It retains information. You have to feed it though. It's almost 2 hours I've been on here, but think about how much time has passed between my last live. I have endless amounts of analogies and information to pull from. I just been consuming, just studying. If you feed your mind and you go to make a decision, you're like, well, I have 40 hours of information to pull from. Now I know the iPhone 15 Pro Max is not worth nothing. comparative to my 13 Pro Max. Why would I upgrade? For what? What, they got a new processor? It's making the phone overheat. Why would I want that? The more information you have, the more sound your decision making is. I have one microphone, one laptop, one camera that I actively use. I had to study before I bought these things because I only wanted to buy it one time. I don't want to have to go back and take it back and this doesn't work and this is overheating, this is having issues. And like, if you would have studied before, if you would have took some time to prepare, you wouldn't be surprised. The one thing I know about people is that they're always lying. They are always lying. What do you do with that information? Assume they're lying. And what happens when you assume people are lying? You'll be surprised by the truth. If you think everyone is out to betray you, you will be surprised by kindness only. Only. Think about that. If you woke up every single day, you're surprised by groceries, cooked meals, clean house, rent paid, no one's rejecting that. No one's upset. But how dare you pay off my mortgage? That surprises too much. No, people want to be surprised by kindness. People hate being betrayed by betrayal. They hate that. I thought you were on my side, but no. People hate that. There's a way to think about this world in terms of wisdom where you realize most people have a fallen nature. It only takes once to become a liar, just like a murderer, just like a rapist. It only takes once to carry that title with you. Most of us have lied once. How do you know if someone's telling a lie? You have to know the truth, which means you can't always know if someone's lying. So it's just better, it's easier, it's more efficient, it's more effective to assume they're lying and then go fact check. Or be surprised that they were telling you the truth. Either way, you benefit. You benefit every time. I go into relationships assuming they're trying to hurt me. There's someone on TikTok saying, women start you at 100, men start you at 0. And over time, they move in opposite directions. You can only disappoint her, and you can only impress him because he started you at 0. If a man rejects you, he's rejecting you for sex, most likely. If a woman rejects you, she's rejecting you for 9 months to a year's time of investment. It's different metrics, and often there's overlap, but typically they are polar opposite. Moving on. What advice would you offer to yourself 5 years ago? 1 year ago? What advice would you offer to yourself 5 years ago? Invest more into relationships. At my current place at 31 years old, I can't think of anything more valuable than having the right phone numbers in your phone. There's nothing more valuable than having the right phone number in your phone. People I can call them when I need something. It's invaluable to have the right people around you. If I can go back 5 years, I would invest so much more into relationships. Relationships. 1 year ago, relationships. If I can call Elon Musk, do you think that's valuable? Do you think that that's an asset that I could just text Elon Musk and he responds? It's about who you know. This world is ran by who's. Every corporation has a who behind it. Personification doesn't really. It's humans are running stuff, at least currently, before AI takes over. But even in those cases, humans are running AI. It's their server. It lives somewhere. The number one thing that I regret over my lifetime is not investing more into relationships. More into relationships. Even more so, investing more into female relationships that isn't based on sexual desire. That's a major mistake I've made in my life. 31 years old. A major mistake is not investing into female relationships just as much as I invest in male relationships that isn't based on simply what I desire from them. A lot of men will learn this later in life. A quality woman is just as rare as you think you are. As rare as you think you are as a man, and like, well, I'm him, and I got this going for me. And as rare as you think you are, there's a woman just as rare as you, and well, men like myself, we're looking for that rare woman. I don't want any woman that fits in at all. Oh yeah, she's just one of those. No, no. My mom is not comfortable when she leaves her house. She doesn't fit everywhere. She goes to church and she's celebrating that's her environment. But she is so much different than all the other women I've come in contact with. It's not even close. It's not even close. It's supposed to be rare. May not even exist in this country. might have to use that passport or something, man. What small gesture from a stranger made a big impact on you? It has always been. This answer has one answer. This answer has one answer. A smile. A smile. A small gesture from a stranger that has made a huge impact on me has always been a smile. Why? Because I don't experience smiles most of the time, right? The number one look I see on people's faces when I go about my day as a 6'2", 6'3", 250, 260 pound man is fear, intimidation, wow sometimes. But it's never, oh, he looks nice. He's cool. Let's be friends with him. I have to talk first before people, he's cool. Once I talk, and once I smile first and hey guys, everybody relaxes. But sometimes you just want to feel like I'm not scaring people away. It's unfortunate. Everyone wants to be a big person until what comes with it. But I've never experienced a smile and not felt good after, ever. Especially a genuine smile. We're well aware of the eyeless smiles, but a genuine smile, bro, you don't forget those. You never forget those. What are you looking forward to in the coming months? What am I looking forward to in the coming months? I'm oddly excited about Thanksgiving and Christmas. And I don't celebrate, like my birthday was September 9th. I did nothing. Like I don't celebrate like that anymore. But I love Christmas music. I love Christmas music. This will be my first Christmas by myself as an adult, not in the military. What do I want to do with my time? And so I'm considering. I thought about going to New York City for Christmas, but I'm like, no, we good on that region. We find somewhere else to go. It's looking kind of dusty in Chicago and New York and all these other sanctuary cities getting overran. Most of my family lives in Texas, so I don't want to have to get that thing, but I will go down to the corner store, bro, and make sure there's no foolishness. Mm, So, I'm looking forward to a lot of things, but I'm really just trying to focus on day by day, putting effort into enjoying my day. But I'm definitely excited somewhat about the holidays. I might do some traveling before the year ends, so we'll see. Do you ever feel lost in your life path? How do you find your way again? I was lost a couple weeks ago, if not a month ago or so. Um, how I found my way again was wisdom. It's not about destination. It's about understanding why you are where you are currently, and what is the next destination that we're about to establish, and then what is the most efficient and effective way to get there without learning via pain. It makes life so much easier when you just try to plan. Planning is the only control of time that you have. Planning is the only control of change that you have. If we know that change is going to happen inevitably, plan, plan for it. Plan for it. One day your car's going to get a flat tire. Plan for it. Plan for it. Make sure you got a spare tire. Make sure it has air in it. Carrying, a tire plug kit might save you hours on the highway. Buying a jack, a car battery starter. There's ways to prepare. When I went to Alaska, they gave us a list of things to buy. I made my own list. I'm like, I'm not playing games. The singular most valuable thing I bought in Alaska was a 3-ton rope. That rope pulled me out of so many ditches, and obviously due to the kindness of strangers. But preparation. If I didn't have the rope, I'll be hoping that somebody has something. Hope is not a strategy. Hope will leave you wanting. Hope will make you angry. You're sitting there hoping. Hope is the little light at the end of the tunnel that says, "Hey, just keep going." But hope, it should not just be, "Let me just keep going, see what happens." No, no, you'll end up in a place you don't want to be. Um, yeah, feeling lost is normal. Feeling lost is normal. If you search quarter life crisis, half life crisis, crisis after turning 30, crisis after turning 40, humans are dealing with this every single day. They're dealing with it every single day. And a lot of us think we don't have control of it. We do. Life happens at the pace and the velocity of your decisions. What time is it now? 12:22 p.m. Eastern. What happens for the next 12 hours is up to me. What will I do with my time that I was given? Well, right now I'm giving wisdom and taking in wisdom and enjoying the ambiance and the aroma of wisdom. But sometimes you're lost because you have no goals. People that are lost in the forest, they don't know where they're going. They're just walking in circles. You need to establish true north. And a good way to start with true north and discovering it is just looking at pain. Pain tells you what you don't like. It's biological. It's in your DNA. It's genetic. You can control when pain comes on and off outside of Tylenol, external, measures, what have you. But the solution is simple. Study wisdom. What don't I like? What angers me? What triggers me? What do I hate seeing happen to other people? What's my worst fear? What's a problem I can solve for my family? What person am I assigned to on this earth? What person in my life has given away every opportunity to hurt me? What person in my life has had plenty of opportunity to hurt me, but has chosen not to? That's when you start asking questions, especially regarding wisdom, you start establishing a map. You're like, oh, they belong in my life. They don't. Simple. It's so simple. Difficult to carry out. But the thought process behind it is logical. I love the outdoors. I feel better when I'm out there. Why? Oh, vitamin D deficiency. There's correlations everywhere. You just don't have enough information. The information is literally all over the place. I didn't have a light to go live with. What am I using? A TV. I YouTubed white softbox light. 24 hours. Let go. There's no lights in here. It's literally a TV lighting the scene. And honestly, a lot better than lights that you would carry around. It's soft. It's beautiful, man. If you travel long enough, you'll realize, all right, do we know where we're going? You'll start pausing, looking around, check the surroundings. That's normal. Every couple years, every 6 months or so, every quarter, you'll kind of pause and you look around. Am I going the right direction? It's called course correction. You can't always control where the wind blows, but sometimes you can just pause and check the compass. Are we going the right direction? And then readjust, readjust, readjust. This comes in chapters. This comes in year form. This comes in decades. Where like, all right, in this period of my life, I was trying to focus on solving this problem. Now I have it solved. The next decade might be a completely different problem. But that's really the point. Once you set a goal, what am I trying to solve? What am I trying to fix? What can I fix? What is causing me pain right now? What is out of order in my environment? That's where you start, and then you'll realize there is no life path. There is no like, hey, just go this way and do this thing and choose this career. There is no life path. There's wisdom and pain. That is a there's literally nothing else. There's wisdom and pain. That is your path to choose from. Do you want to live a life of wisdom or a life of pain? You don't have any other choices. There are none, man. It's unfortunate. It's unfortunate. Two ways of learning: wisdom and pain. What do you want your epitaph to be? I'm not prideful enough to pretend I know what that means. So we're gonna look it up.
Epitaph.
A phrase or form of word written in memory of a person who has died, especially as an inscription on a tombstone. Interesting. What would I put on my tombstone? The second coming of Solomon, adjusted for inflation. This morning, I almost changed my channel name to Modern Day Solomon. Then I changed it back. I ain't trying to do all that. But that's what I want to be written on my tombstone, more or less. A man of wisdom, second coming of Solomon, made wise decisions, taught others how to make wise decisions, lived a life of peace and relaxation, not turbulence and volatility and pain. No, no. My ancestors were slaves, bruh. When I hear people constantly talking about how, oh no, a life of pain is, you get strength from that. I'm like, strength does not carry over to the afterlife. Why do people want to be strong? For what? If I suffer more, then I'll be stronger because I survived it. Go ahead. Y'all can have all that. Cutting grass by hand, weed whacking, doing bushes in the hot sun, roofing, frontline infantry. Pass. Pass. My goals in life is to live in environments that are peaceful, inspiring, relaxing, you know, be around women, men who are inspirational, who are motivating, who are accountable, who are responsible, people that hold me accountable, who care about me, who can cook a little bit. You know what I'm saying? Thanksgiving is almost here. It's my contention. It's my argument that there's a way to get all those things. There's a way to get all those things, and it starts, of course, with wisdom. But secondly, you're gonna probably attract people like that once you become that person. Once you become that person, how do you become that person who lives a life of luxury but peace and minimalism and essentialism? But everything's in right standing. There's a level of homeostasis and peace and profoundness and fulfillment that has created this environment to be like so. The only way to create that and to become that is to ensure that all of your decisions align with that as your goal. The second you make a decision that doesn't align with that, you have changed your destination from that to whatever results of this decision. Simple as that. What else we got? We're almost done. What do you regret not doing? Why haven't you done it? Oh, God. What do you regret not doing? And why haven't you done it? I know the answer already is going to be fear. Dude, to keep it a buck. Let's be honest, man. The answer I know is going to be fear. What haven't I done? What do I want to do? I think the only thing left really is travel internationally. I think traveling internationally is the only thing that I've put on the back burner that I've kind of, you know, maybe a puppy kitten will be on that list as well. But definitely traveling overseas is something I've been talking to God about for years. When I was in the Air Force, especially in DC, and we had very active flight line. Cannon Air Force Base didn't have any jets, Everything had like turboprops and what have you. Every time I see a plane fly over, I would always tell God, God, I want to fly. I want to travel. I don't want to be in this dusty country just sitting in a cubicle. I want to travel. And now here we are. Passport, time, money, no kid. I have options. There it is. Why haven't you done yet? It's fear. Fear. There would never be a right time. And you hear this a lot. You hear this a lot. But there's no right time. Like obviously there's preparation and there's wisdom. But the time should be based on on preparation and wisdom, not based on the right time. Can't wait till I'm 30 to do this. No, no. Make quality decisions. When I choose a woman to marry, it's not gonna be based on how lonely I am or how bad she is, or how good she can cook. Ain't no woman out here competing with DoorDash. Period. There are zero women out here competing with nightly DoorDash. I can choose from 1,000 restaurants and get a home cooked meal delivered to my bed. I'm not choosing women on whether she can cook. I'm not picking a woman based on her skin color, her height, or her weight. Selfishly, I'm picking a woman based on how she makes me feel. Because I'm the one that got to live with this woman. I'm the one that got to live this woman. I got to wake up to her. I got to deal with her bathroom habits and whether or not there'll be hair everywhere and taking 10 hours to shower. And we can't leave the house at last second notice. We just got to, we got to wait till she's ready. You have control. You have control. Fear is going to be the number one reason why you don't do a lot of things. That's the whole point. You got to do it anyway. You do it anyway because you understand there's a reward after that. There's no reward to quitting. Only relief. And relief is temporary. It means it's coming back later. Whatever you're dealing with now, you got relief from it. It's going to come back later, or it's come back in a different form. But you never get absolute solution from relief. That's not how it works. It's unfortunate. 10 more questions. What would constitute a perfect day for you? So I pretty much live this day every day. Try something. I can bring peace to my mind by doing the following. That's nice. I just want order in front of my person. Beautiful. What a perfect day look like for you? First thing in the morning, coffee, preferably a balcony over the ocean. If we don't have a balcony overlooking the ocean, obviously we're going to the gym, then to the beach. Ideally, the restaurant that we'll have breakfast at, we'll be at the beach, but we'll be fasting most of the morning anyway. But maybe lunch, brunch around 11, 12, 1. A couple drinks, you understand? Movies. Possibly hookah spot. Take the boat out around sunset. Come back to land around 8, 9 o'clock. Head to the airport and fly overseas is my ideal. And then, of course, once you're overseas, repeat that same day. Fly somewhere else. Add a couple days in between. Fly somewhere else. And repeat that until I die. And ideally, my wife will be with me the whole time. Children, they didn't ask me about my deal size family. My deal size day, my deal day would be me, my girl, doing stuff. Simple. And come back and get in the bed and go to sleep. Get a little draws and go to sleep. What's something you love about yourself? I love my mind. I absolutely, I love my mind. It's my greatest asset. It's my greatest asset. I love my mind. Close second is my height. Close second. Third would probably be my genetics. My genetics are quality. If I went to a sperm bank, bruh, if I walked into a sperm bank, like right this way, sir, please, the cup is right there. Please bless us with your sustenance, your empty calories of sorts, your generations to offer, your Abraham, bruh. That will be my list of things I love about myself. My mind. Oh my goodness. I pray for anyone who has to compete with me in anything. Um, because I love my mind. Love my mind. Um, when do you feel truly alive? Is number 33. I think I answered this before. Just do anything that is in the face of fear. In the face of fear. Not so much danger, because I'm not trying to deal with danger too much. Danger is real. Like, you got to measure that, John. But when it comes to feeling alive, it's usually something that I don't want to do, that I have all these mental blocks on, that I do anyway. That makes me feel alive. Making decisions that I know are against my insecurities or my impulses, my roadblocks, my mental hangups. When I go against those, that's when I feel most alive. What else we got? When people come to you for help, what do they usually want help with? That's a good question. A question like this is very good with helping you identify your purpose, your assignment on the planet, and how you're different from everyone else, and how unique you are in your own special way. This is one of those questions that will help you highlight those type of things. What comes to mind when people come to you for help? What do they usually want help with? Usually, like, just like a dilemma, a question that has two good options, or one option that's 51-49, what have you. It's usually a decision making question of what is the most effective. Am I crazy? Am I being gaslit? Does this make sense? Did I plan this correctly? Am I focusing on the wrong thing? Should I be focusing on this? It's usually wisdom problem, because that's my greatest asset in my mind, thinking on the fly and thinking very quickly. It's a gift. It's a gift. A lot of people wish they had it. A lot of people wish they had it. What else we got? What do you consider as your biggest achievement in the last 5 years? I would say my biggest achievement is finishing my Air Force contract with an honorable discharge. Honorable discharge. All my benefits, VA rating. I'm blessed. But the hardest part of all of this, especially this last 6 years, 10 years, in most cases, it's just finishing things. My struggle in life has been finish what you start. Finish what you start. Kevin Durant can't get through a full contract. James Harden can't get through a full contract. Kyrie can't get through a full contract. What's the point? Marriages aren't getting through contracts. What's the point? And the one thing I'm most proud of for myself is starting something and finishing it in right standing. Believe it or not, it's quite difficult to leave the Air Force. The military, in that case. It's quite difficult to leave the military, because you're jumping through hoops, and they're not going to let you go unless you're leaving the right way. I have plenty of friends who've tried to leave just under normal circumstances. Something pops off, accusation or something, something illegal, investigation starts, and they go ahead. They say, "Oh, you about to leave? Don't worry about that. Go ahead. We'll just go ahead and extend you for a little bit." Yeah, against your will, we'll go ahead and extend you. I'm blessed. I'm blessed. I'm grateful. I'm grateful that God gave me wisdom, and He, honestly, it's grace and mercy in a lot of ways too, where things you deserved or things you didn't deserve, God put His hand on. And so I can't take credit for anything I have right now, because I know the mistakes I've made. I know who I truly am, who I really am. I know Him. And so to have God put His hand on me and say, "I know you made this mistake. I'm gonna cover that. I know you did this. Wasn't up to snuff. Let you have it anyway. You weren't fully prepared. Don't worry about it. I got you." That doesn't happen every time, but it happens enough that you realize this is not of my own doing. Even though I know I'm Him, this is not of my own doing. There's no way I could have did that by myself. And that keeps you humble. Keeps you humble and grateful, honestly. If you didn't have to sleep, what what is the most challenging part of your job? What? There's just two questions mixed into one. I believe I already answered the first part of it. It's unfortunate. Whoever's editing this page will have your job. What is the most challenging part of your job? I don't have a job that causes me challenges. Um, yeah, that's unfortunate. That's well, YouTube. One thing I've noticed about my ambition. Who we got in this chat, bruh? Sebastian came back. What's good with you, man? I'm not running for nobody president. They gotta up that pay. Run me a couple checks, you understand? All right. What was I saying? What's the most challenging part of your job? YouTube. I've noticed my ambition levels have dropped commensurate with my vitamin D levels. And when you just don't have to work, when you don't have to do something, it kind of takes, especially as a man, we're driven by need and desire and wants and solving problems. Well, when you solve all the problems, and now you got one or two left, and then those, they're maybe like longer term goals, what have you. And they're like, what do I do now with my day? Go live. You should be going live, man. Nigga, I don't want to. All right, well, go to sleep. All right, fine. It's different. It's different, and the level of ambition that I expect for myself, it's dropping. It's unfortunate. It's dropping, but we're gonna fix it. We're gonna fix it manually. What was the major turning point in your life? What was a major turning point in your life? Join the Air Force. Join the Air Force. The Air Force was my college experience. I didn't get the ideal, state college partying, frats, and Greek lifestyle. Nope. Passed me right on by. But the Air Force allowed me to see, the world as it really is. It gave you, first of all, it's the real world, but it's kind of sheltered because, the pay system is a little bit, fortunately, commensurate with inflation, all these things. Like, you get paid well in the military. You don't really feel the economy no matter where you're living. So, I think the Air Force gave me a chance to see the world on someone else's dime, get the experience of seeing the world, experiencing the world without having to pay for it myself, but being paid to do so. And of course, leveraging that time and that salary into things like YouTube or other ventures or vacations that I can explore and expose myself to different parts of the world, different lifestyles. I think the Air Force was a great experience for me. Also, it taught me what I hated about structure or environments that are too structured where I don't have control. I love having the option to choose now, and it's a lot of it has to do with the experience in the military where I couldn't choose when I wanted to, and so now I have a greater level of respect for having options and the ability to choose now. Couple more, couple more questions. I'm not gonna mail in. I will not mail in these last couple questions. What's one thing that could happen today that would make it great? I don't know if I can answer this honestly. What's the one thing that could happen today that would make it great? I'm not gonna be hyperbolic. I'm gonna think. I'm gonna answer this realistically. Um, Probably getting some neck. That's probably the most honest answer I can give right now. Like, every now and then you try to be deep and like, all right, well, let me give the people what they need. But I mean, to keep it a bug, bro, like I just need a little bit of that stuff. If you knew that in 1 year you would die suddenly, would you change anything about the way you are now living? Definitely. I would blow through. Well, so first I would order a couple thousand credit cards. Just keep it a buck, you understand? We get about 150 to 200 credit cards, and we are going to the airport. And y'all might not, for the last year of my life, you probably won't see me again. Especially if I know I'm dying. The last year of my life, you will not see me because I'm trying to experience every culture. I want to see every corner of this planet before I leave it. And so honestly, that's probably what I should be doing now because I think that's the question. Uh, if you knew that in 1 year you would die suddenly, would you change anything about the way you're living now? Yeah, I would begin traveling, like booking tickets today. Why don't you do that? Because I don't want to, man. I just that's the truth. That's the truthful answer. And the point of this question is to really highlight that a lot of us say we want a certain lifestyle, we say we want certain things, and nothing in our daily life is mapping towards what we actually want. Everything that we're doing today is mapping towards survival. It's mapping towards how do I just make it to 5 o'clock, make it to the end of the day. How can I just get home and go to sleep? And again, it's kind of hard to pull out of that mindset when you're in it, when you're going through it, because obviously pain is controlling everything. Everything in your world is pain. How do I get relief? How do I make it stop? Well, wisdom will preserve you while you're in. The same analogies with Daniel and the lion's den, Shadrach, Meshach, them. Sometimes you have to go in it, and while you're in it, you get delivered from it. Not so much before, but during. And so there are a lot of things in our daily lives that, yeah, make sure that everything you're doing maps towards your end goal. Make sure your end goal is actually desirable. If there's a chance that you can go look at what your end goal actually is in real life and see how people live around that, you realize not all of it is truly desirable. A lot of us want things that if we had it today, we wouldn't want it. We wouldn't want it. So just be aware that a lot of things on the internet. Here's one thing I'll say. When I started putting more effort into my actual life versus my internet life, you'll notice that your life becomes so much better when you're living good, you're living well in actual real life. And then you turn the camera on. You make quality decisions, wise decisions in your real life. Then you don't got to do anything to your life to put it on camera. It's already it's perfect already. You don't need to do anything else. But when you're putting it on camera and your actual life is trash, of course there's an incongruence. Last question. What would you like to ask yourself? What would you like to ask yourself? Or these questions are different, people. Like when you're trying to answer the question, man, like you're just pulling up weeds and then you get to the roots. Brad, what would I like to ask myself? My buddy's here. We'll save that answer for the next time. I appreciate y'all coming through. Everybody who stuck around and watched. I appreciate y'all supporting your boy. Try to do this a little bit more regularly. Something I actually want to do, not something that I need to do. But yeah, this was fun. I appreciate everybody coming through and engaging, asking questions or comments, what have you. But I'm grateful. I'm gonna go outside and play, and so I will see y'all in the next video. Say what's good to your boy.